Good morning, this is Scott from the Living History School, and today we're going to be trying out our Yukon military survival stove and putting it in our teepee. So we got the pipe coming out the top here, if you can see it, the smoke coming. And I'll show you how to basically put together a very inexpensive survival shelter that can be mobile. Today we'll be taking that stove that I was burning the paint off yesterday, and we'll be assembling it over in the teepee. That's the teepee. I leave the teepee poles up year-round, and we'll be putting canvas around that, and then we'll be putting our little stove in there. You could also put the stove in a little cabin like this. This is a simple 10 by 12 cabin. Actually, I think it's even smaller than that. You could easily put one inside there too. So we'll be setting that up today, and the materials that I use for setting up my teepee is just basic canvas drop cloth or painter's cloth that you can get at any painter supply store, and all I do is tie them onto a teepee framework, and I'll show you how to do that. So Indian people and trappers didn't have special tarps with grommets in it. What people just did was they take a corner of the tarp and they stick a rock up in there, or a stick or whatever, and then just loop around that and tie a couple knots in there, and that's what you can use to tie your tarps up onto a framework. And they won't rip out. They stay on there pretty good. You can even use musket balls for like colonial reenactors or people that are doing living history stuff. Can use a musket ball in there if you want, or just a pebble. And then I like to use this simple hemp cordage. You can just take this and pull it apart and tie pieces together and make a longer string. This works really well, and also you can use this for fire starting if you want. So what you want to do is you want to start in the framework where you think a door should be. So I'm going to have the door right here, and of course all the tarps are kind of square. They're square, and so you got to tie them. What I do is start at the door here, and I tie around here, and I loop around the first layer around the bottom, and then I take the next 2 or 3 tarps and go over top of that. You want to layer them kind of like you would shingles on the roof, starting with the one at the bottom of the teepee, and then kind of layering them up. So when the rain hits it, it'll go from on the top of one over to the top of the next one, not underneath it. So teepee poles can be cut anywhere you are out in the woods and just left up against a tree when you're all done. I stand them straight up against a big fir tree, and they'll sit there for years and not rot. Of course, you just want to untie them all and then leave the two poles that you put it up with tied together, and I'll show you that in a later video, how to put up the teepee poles. But you can see the stove pipe sticking out of the top here. You want to make sure there's plenty of room around the canvas so it doesn't catch fire. And then you'll be putting one more small tarp at the very top for a rain fly. There she is sitting inside the teepee. There's room for a couple people in there. Probably pretty toasty. And there it is, stovepipe sticking out the top. Just need to put on the rain fly. Facing the inlet of the vent towards the door where you walk in, it really gets pretty good suction. You can hear it when the vent is full open. It's really pumping air through there. So you probably only have to open up a teeny bit, because naturally the wind likes to blow a little bit underneath the edges of the teepee and then up. You don't want to seal a teepee too tight on the bottom. So there it is, your nomadic survival shelter. Basically, all you would need to go out into the woods and cut yourself 10 poles about 10 or 12 feet long, and all you need is a couple canvas painter tarps and some string, and you have your own shelter.